It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts Tim
and LJ. Today and every week, we will be discussing musicals and specifically what they taught us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remembered?
I did. I still think we should swap it over, but anyway.
Okay.
Here, look. It's warm in your house today. I've got a special t-shirt on.
What t-shirt have you got on? Guys and Dolls.
I've got the Guys and Dolls t-shirt on.
How have you got the merch and you haven't
Well, because everybody in the world has seen the show before me.
Oh.
So my dad's seen it. So he brought back a t-shirt, which at the time I was like, you're just rubbing this in my face. I'm not happy about it. But now that I'm actually going.
Are you going to wear that?
100%. And you see if Marisha Wallace does not get a selfie with me at the end.
Who is that?
Well, that is our special guest for the week.
Not that.
Oh my goodness.
What an introduction.
Good point. I need to take my tablet too.
Oh my goodness.
It's all go. It's all go.
It's a pharmacy.
We thought we'd give Aaron the week off and bring in another invited special guest who's now just mucked up the whole podcast. So thanks for coming. See you. Bye.
I feel like you should introduce yourself.
I feel like I should finish my Guys and Dolls story
I feel like
first.
I'm bored of that.
What was I saying? No, so if Marisha
Nobody
Wallace
cares.
doesn't take a picture with me at the end of the show with my Guys and Dolls t-shirt on, I'll be really upset. Anyway, our special guest, Lauren, do you please introduce us?
I'm going to introduce our... Do you know what? I'm so excited.
So am I.
We have known this girl since she was
A baby.
so tiny. And see, I have a very vivid memory of this girl on stage and turning around to her mummy and saying she's going to be a star one day.
I remember the moment that I also went, this girl's got something special.
Yeah.
We'll maybe talk about that all later.
Yeah.
Who is it?
It's Sarah!
Yes, it's our lovely friend Sarah McFarlane. Say hello, Sarah.
Hiya.
Don't be shy now.
Sorry for my tablet alarm.
It's okay.
It's fine. We know you like to make an entrance.
Exactly. Just you know, I wanted to get myself in there. It's too late.
That is one of your best entrances I think I've ever seen.
Oh, can't be a bit predictable. Can't be predictable.
Never predictable. Predictable's not okay. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for coming on. Do you listen?
I do. I'm an avid listener. I live in London. I am an avid listener.
We're being listened to in non-London.
I know.
By the
When
rich
I'm
and
there.
the famous.
Maybe no, neither yet.
Soon, maybe.
Broken hope to be.
Yeah, you never know. Well, we thought, apart from giving Aaron the week off, we thought you would be the perfect person to join us for today's episode because of the musical we're looking at. Mm-hmm. Which
Oh, I'm so excited.
What is it? Tell us, Sarah, what is it?
6.
Oh my goodness. She just sang the beginning of that.
You have to. That's the rule. You can't say the
Oh,
word.
is that the
Yeah.
real? Brilliant.
Can't say the word.
And you obviously have a lovely link to the musical. Do you want to
Do
tell
I?
us? I think. Well, I hope so. Have we got the wrong person?
Is this the
it's
wrong
not
Sarah?
Like, wait, I don't know what the show is.
Tell us what your connection with Six is then.
I play Catherine Howard in 6 on board Norwegian Cruise Lines.
Like, how does that feel to say that?
You're
Not real.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the... I don't know if I've ever actually said it out loud.
I
You
love
know?
it.
I've typed it on my
Did you
Instagram.
go all? Did you kind of go like? Did I just say that out loud? Or are you like going? Oh, tingle, tingle. I
Right.
just said that out
Tingle,
loud.
tingly, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe now after I've done it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, maybe when I first got it, I was a bit like, is this right? Like, have I got the right person?
Are you phoning the right person?
Yeah, is this for me?
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant! So you have already played Catherine Parr, and isn't that right?
I covered originally.
Okay.
Covered Seymour, Howard and Parr.
Oh, showing off.
And now just Howard.
And you're going back
I am.
out on the seas
It's crazy.
to do it all over again.
It's just mental.
Well, it's very exciting, and thank you for coming to see us today, because we were like, we've got to get Sarah while she's on dry land.
Yep.
Because when do you leave to go on the ship?
End of October.
End of October, so it's not very soon. And are you going into rehearsals first?
Yes, a full month.
So a full month of rehearsals.
I know, it is very, very in-depth. But
Okay.
you wouldn't think.
Even though you've done it before?
Yeah, because it's a whole new group of girls.
Okay.
You know, it's not the same.
The same six.
One girl is, but yeah. Every cast is different, which is
Nice.
the beauty of it, I guess.
Okay.
And what about costumes? So are the costumes different for each girl?
Yeah, so
Or
they're
just
made
each trip?
specifically
Wow.
for you, which obviously the design's the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I had a fitting in London, and it's just like mock-ups. You know, it's like material, they pin it to your body or whatever, and then they make the plastic and put it, because it's plastic. Well, mine is anyway.
Okay.
And they mould it. It's got this like fabric in it where as you sweat and your body heats up, it like molds to your body.
Oh, helpful.
So the
Whoa.
first few times you have it on, you're like, you know, you feel like a robot.
Okay.
But as you perform and wear it more often, then it is made to your body.
So you
presume
kind of
that's-
have to perform like your
Fill out,
best,
yeah.
so that the costume fits you better.
I mean, after about 5 minutes wearing it, you're sweating anyway. So
Okay.
it's not like it takes that long, but yeah.
And I
lucky,
presume
nice.
that's more comfortable then, as a
Yeah.
costume.
Yeah, well, because it becomes, you know,
You.
your body. I mean, I don't wear a lot. My costume is just like a top and a skirt. You know,
Okay, yeah.
whereas the Aragon, like, there's a huge
Yes.
Yeah.
piece. Like, she wears a weighted vest in rehearsals because it's
Holy
so heavy
moly.
Oh my goodness, just to prepare her for.
for wearing the actual costume. Oh, because you've got the big, you know, shoulder pads and the skirt, and then you've got the chains underneath it. So it's like weight on weight on weight, and then she's got a big crown and a wig and everything.
See, Lauren, this is the stuff you don't read in books. You gotta speak to the people in the know to get all these
Absolutely.
wee cool things.
That's class. I did not know any of that.
Will we give the viewers a brief background on Six before
Yeah.
we go any further? Because I feel like we could go down like avenues that we never expected. Do you have background, or do you
Yeah,
want me
but a wee bit of background.
Go for
So, Six is a British musical. Oh, yeah, sorry, I should have forgot. A musical comedy with music, book, and lyrics by BFFs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss, who wrote it while they were still at uni. Isn't that incredible?
That fact blew my mind. Like how successful they have become, and the fact that this whole Six journey started whilst they were still in uni.
I know.
And they used Cambridge University students.
Yeah, whenever they
for the first
premiered
ever.
it. Yeah, in Edinburgh Fringe
Class.
Festival. It was performed by Cambridge students.
Have you met them?
I have met them at a different workshop. They're workshopping Why Am I So Single? It's like a new
Yes,
piece,
that's
Christina
right, yeah.
Bennington.
Nice.
Met them at that, and it's just like,
And they're lovely.
it's just normal human.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously normal
Yeah,
human beings,
yeah.
but you know, it's like a global phenomenon. You expect them to be a bit, you know,
Making an entrance like you.
with their iPhone alarm. But no, they're so chill, so normal.
Oh, amazing.
Oh.
So good.
So, Six is a modern telling of the 6 wives of Henry VIII, but from their side of history.
Yeah.
It premiered, as we said, in the Fringe Festival in 2017, and then it premiered 2 years later in the West End, which is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just for guys at uni to write a musical, that it didn't take long for it to reach the West End. It was due to open in America in Broadway in 2020, but it was COVID. It was
Yeah.
March. So it ended up being 2021. And while I was on the plane to Chicago, I watched that documentary, Broadway Rising, which is all about Broadway during COVID. So there's a massive bit.
Where are you finding these documentaries? It feels like every podcast you tell me
know.
about a new documentary.
I know, but I love documentaries. I love behind the scenes. Like, I love seeing how things operate and stuff that you wouldn't know about. So
Okay, you need to write them down in a list for me, because you keep telling me and I keep forgetting what they are.
so it's pretty good, that Broadway Rising. It's on Prime Video, so you can watch it now.
Do you have Prime Video?
Well, we'll get you Prime Video.
Okay.
But
To the producer.
I would recommend that you're, you know, in a good mood whenever you're watching, because it's all about COVID, so it's kind of
fair
a wee
enough,
bit,
yeah.
you know, brings back some sort of, you know, memories. But what I loved as well was Lucy was the youngest female to direct on Broadway.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought that
She
was class.
co-directed.
Yeah.
That's it. And they did really well in Broadway at the Tonys. Like, they were nominated for 8 Tonys and they won Best Score and Best Costume Design. So for like a British musical to go over to Broadway and like do that was a really, really cool
Especially
thing.
having COVID in between, where a lot of times if something happens, you can lose that momentum, can't you? But it just shows you how tremendous the musical is, that it was able to have this whole big upheaval, but yet still stand.
Yeah, that's it.
You know,
At the
and so people-
Olivier's, the 6 of them got nominated for leading actress.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, that hasn't even ever happened before.
Not with that many.
No, because I
6
think the only
girls.
time that was mentioned before or done before was the Matildas.
Yeah.
The 4 Matildas.
Yeah.
4 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 6 girls then.
But this is the thing, like, and that was the one thing that stood out the first time I saw it. And at that point, I didn't really know what I was going to see. Like, it was a new show, but there, a new show that was getting a bit of hype, but there wasn't a huge amount out there yet. But I went to see it. I was first of all, like, blown away by the impact for basically a 1-act kind of musical. Do you know what I mean? So there's no interval. It's just the whole, like, what's the running time from start to finish, Sarah?
An hour 10.
An hour 10. Like, so an hour 10 of just constant, endless entertainment. But also the fact that you were watching a show where basically there were 6 leading ladies. Like, what musical do you ever go to where there's 6 girls that are equally as fantastic, get it, equal billing, same opportunities? Like, you don't see that very often, do you?
Not in that style.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's the thing. It is a story of Henry VIII's 6 wives from their perspective, but also done, presented in the form of a pop concert. Yeah. And apparently, like, each of the wives were written with a particular Queenspirations. Do you know the Queenspirations?
I do.
Tell us.
Okay, so Catherine of Aragon, Beyonce.
Yes.
That's very obvious.
Yeah.
Boleyn is Avril Lavigne.
Oh,
But I also had watched an interview with them where they said it was also Kate Nash. And you can kind of hear some.
What's that song? That really famous Kate Nash song.
With some.
So many lemons, whatever that is.
I'm so bitter.
Don't be bitter. Like, Seymour is Adele.
Yeah.
Of course.
Cleves is one that's not changed, but I'd say has grown. It was like Lizzo.
Yeah. Okay. Nicki Minaj,
Nicki
Rihanna.
Minaj, that's it. Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, and now more recently Lizzo. Okay.
Yeah.
The big one.
Yeah.
Mine is Britney Spears and
Of course.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
And then Power is Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
Even just her costume, I think, screams Alicia Keys.
Yes.
I don't know why.
She's always got that curly hair.
The curly hair,
Yeah.
like the power pants, I think,
Yeah, I said the wrong queen to you earlier. I said.
Do you know what's funny? Is my
Power,
dad
but-
convinced a girl in a pub in London that I was playing Catherine Parr, and she got my Instagram and said, "Your daughter is playing Catherine Howard." That was the only way my dad would back down at the fact that I wasn't playing Catherine Parr.
I just know you're pink. Isn't that right? You're in pink.
We say the pink one.
The pink one. The pink one. Yeah, that's it. Were those type of things, like, when you got the gig, were those kind of inspirations spoken of? Did they sit you down and go, so this is the inspiration for this queen?
It's very... When you start the rehearsal process, you don't actually learn the show until a few days in.
Okay.
You spend a lot of time learning about the show, learning the context, and you do this thing called Queen presentations. And you each go away, usually with one of the swings that's covering the role, and you come in and, like, present the Queen in whatever way you want, whatever form you want. So the first time I did it, when I was a swing, we did like an Instagram page as if Catherine Howard had Instagram. She like existed in this world, and all her posts about meeting all the men and like all that sort of stuff. And then the second time we did it like it was her birthday party, because obviously she was quite young. Yeah. And we did pass the parcel, and every round you opened, it was different facts about her. Like 2 of the girls did the Catherine of Aragon, they did like a quiz show about, like, you're learning lots of things about the queens.
Yeah.
Before you even touch the material. Like, they're very specific and very serious about that. And they post like pictures on the wall. So like there's like a Kay Howard wall, and it's Britney and Ariana and all these pink things, and what you would expect.
Yeah.
So they're very detailed. and specific before you've even learnt the material.
But I suppose that gives you that confidence when you go out there. Yes, you're making that part yours, but you understand what the writers wanted from that role, and you're then able to portray it with loads of confidence.
Yeah,
but in your own style.
It's like a backup. You know, you think, okay, this scene is difficult to understand or reach. Okay, what was my inspiration or what was my context? How did the queen before me do it? How do I want to portray it? But also, how did the writers see this moment? And it's so clearly laid out on the page the way they want it.
Okay.
So it's very easy to say, okay, well, this is the arc of this part. And, you know, it's very...
And I suppose the history, I suppose you have to get on top of the history as well. So you really know...
exactly what you're talking about.
Which is why it doesn't blow my mind that it's been as successful as it is. But it amazes me that something so successful is based upon history. And I know you're going to whack me because you loved your history. But, like... girls and history, is that a thing? Like, do girls love history? Maybe they do.
I do love history.
I know you do, but like, you're you. Do you know what I mean? Like, history, see, to me, history's a boring subject. I was always a geography boy.
I know, geography's so boring.
I see. You need to do a musical on geography.
You were one or the other, weren't you, at school? You were history.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what were you?
Geography.
See?
No.
And now you're like playing a historical character. So did you have to go and learn that history if you didn't know it already, or did they kind of sit you down with a fact file or a history teacher?
They give you history teacher. Like I need my own tutor. No, they give you lots of books and documentaries to watch, but horrible histories.
Yes, horrible history.
That's your best friend. Although Americans, obviously, they don't know what that is, so they're like, not a clue. But yeah, you do have to go. No, in saying that, like it's based upon a lot of it is artistic license.
Of course,
but you do have to know the core facts.
What happened to your queen?
Source material.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you know where it originated from and how.
To be able, I think the key thing about Six is you're delivering a fact with the hope that, not that it goes over their head, but that it clicks and they go, oh, okay, it's called the Six Switch.
Okay.
You know, it's you're playing this part or this thought, and you deliver it in a way that they go, oh, wait, is that what you meant? Oh, I didn't know that. Like, this means that. You know, it's the ability to kind of give it to the audience without them having to work hard for it, but also, you know, the play on words, which is big for my queen. But you have to know the material to be able to do that.
The words.
The words.
How did you learn the words, especially if you were swing for six queens?
Yeah.
Like, how did you do that? Like, it's so wordy.
It is very, very, and so specific. Like, there's, in my song especially, there's a like in one verse that shows her youth, and then it's not in the second verse, because, you know, like this, or it's, you know, it's legit. Like, there's specific little words that you have to get right.
So
because
cool.
it, you know, I have, you know, he says you have a connection. One is, he says we have this connection. You know, it's different.
Oh my goodness.
You're like, trying to get it right.
But again, that's, and we say this time and time again on this podcast. You don't understand how clever musicals are, or how a lyricist has, why they have written that lyric or that line in that song without actually delving deeper. A lot of the times we just look at things on the surface, and you need to kind of like delve deeper, and that's what's so interesting about what we're doing. But I'm sure as a performer it's even better, because you're getting to go, okay, if I like stamp my foot on this, then that's going to mean something different.
Yeah, that was very big in the rehearsal room. A lot of light bulb moments were happening where people were like, oh my god, that's what that means, like, or this is that, or that's this. You know, the director would be saying, yep, that's it. There's a lot of like modern pop culture moments that are like influence the scenes that you wouldn't even know, like the scene just after Noe, and they're about to introduce Anne Boleyn, and that scene is called Britney versus Christina, because it's that whole idea of like, oh, Christina Aguilera, you love Christina Aguilera, but what about Britney? Like, what about, you know, like the idea that this queen is amazing, but what about that other one? Like, that's based on two queens that lived that in a time. You know,
oh my
like,
goodness.
You think, oh my god, that makes so much sense.
The levels are just unbelievable. Like, more levels than you would ever have thought. It just shows how clever those two were when they wrote this musical.
I think a lot of things.
And they're
they
young.
didn't realise. No.
they're so young. Like, you know, when they first started on that journey, like so young.
Yeah,
It's
amazing.
very exciting to see what they do next, isn't it? Like, obviously, you know, Six has blown up across the world. Like, it is global now, isn't it? Like, and I don't see it going anywhere. Like, anytime it comes to the Opera House, like, good luck getting a ticket, because
Sold
the
out.
tickets fly out. Like, I don't remember a show that's returned so often
Yes.
in a period of a very short number of years. Like, it's been
That also doesn't
loads.
need anyone. Doesn't need any names. Like,
No.
you know, it's always just like girls who are right for the role, who are, you know,
Yeah.
like they never seem to stunt cast it because it doesn't
No.
need it. You know,
And I don't think they never will, Sarah, will they?
I can't see them doing
No.
that. If anything, it's the show that catapults people
Yes.
into fame. You know, so many people.
And that's
have
it. There's a
become famous.
massive following of Six. And not just for those in the West End or those in Broadway, those on tour. Whenever you were away, like, there was people fangirling over you. And I was like, I'm so proud. I know her.
Oh, the family group chat was popping off. They're like, ha ha, like this person's liking you. It's so funny.
I know, but it was so lovely to see. Like, and it was, you know, moments like that do make us like smile because we
like
know
bursting
you
with
and have
pride.
known you for so long, and just seeing you do something that you were literally born to do.
Yeah.
But getting other people who don't know you as well, or haven't known you since you were like tiny, and them seeing your talent is wonderful.
Yeah.
And we're going, yes, she deserves this.
And as a show, and like we talked a number of episodes ago about like the fan base. I think it was when we were like doing
Yes.
Rent.
Yeah.
We talked about the fan base that the rent heads like came out of the woodwork. And Six is another one of those musicals where the fan base is
the queendom.
the queendom.
Yeah.
Like, so what is it like being in the queendom? Like, what's that like?
It's crazy. I feel like you don't think about it until you're in it. You know, like social media is such a like now thing, isn't
Yeah.
it, of this generation. Like when we were young, it was like log on to your MSN and like say hi, you know.
I think we were even before MSN, weren't
No,
we?
we were definitely using MSN, but yeah.
I was like using it off. My sister, like, I should not be using this. I was like 9 and the age is 13. But they definitely, the age group, you know, you're talking like teens age.
Yeah.
So you have to also be careful about what you're posting. Like, we have a social media talk where it's very like,
Yeah.
if you want to make your private life private, then you have to follow that on your social media because they find everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah,
What
I
you
think
comment, what you're tagged in, you know, because they just want, I used to do that, you know,
Yeah.
be like on Sutton Foster's Instagram page, like looking like, what's the
Yeah.
last thing?
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's beautiful, but also it feels like I remember being that age.
Yeah.
Or even like my little cousin, you know, like knowing what they're like and what they want to see. I feel
Yeah.
like it's lovely, but also
There's I suppose it's just added pressure, isn't it, to doing your job really well, but also knowing that you're kind of a role model to lots of younger girls who are kind of, you know, inspired by you and looking up to you.
yeah.
And also that they have come to you through a musical. Like, my daughter's obviously at stage school now, but you weren't there whenever she first started, but she knows of you. She's
Yeah.
you know, and she is obsessed with Six and went to see it with Caitlin, you know, and that was her and her Auntie Kiki's little date, and she will remember that forever.
Yeah.
But she can rhyme off. And obviously there's certain lines in Six
Over their head, probably.
which, as a parent, you're probably not going to want your child to sing.
Not out loud.
Not out
for
loud.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, you know, whenever she was first introduced to it, we were like, can you just skip past those lines? You know, and now she's not, I wouldn't say she completely gets them, but she's aware that there's something with those words that I shouldn't sing out loud.
I can just picture your CJ's reaction to realising that some of the things she's been singing are like,
Yeah.
like I could just see her like going, oh my goodness, like I could just see what she'd be like.
But also, you know, when we were younger, the rhyme for remembering the Henry VIII's wives were divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived.
That's in the
obviously-
show?
It's in the show,
Yes,
yeah.
and it is in the show. But that's all we knew about the wives.
Yeah.
CJ is able to say their actual names.
Yeah, well, that's the point. That's what they're saying. Like, you only know us because of this rhyme. You only know us because of what happened to us. But actually, there's a lot more to uncover here. It's so clever.
Yeah.
So it's the world's best history lesson. Kids would learn a lot more history if they just took this approach to more subjects.
And I think that's why Horrible Histories was so successful.
Yeah, true.
And Horrible Histories is a fab watch just to sit down and, you know, if you've got like an hour, maybe with kids around rather than like not. But like it would always be on. But again, it's just taking something and putting it into a new media and a way that somebody else can relate to it. And Six has done that for so many.
Yeah. Well, so what was your route into Six then? How did it all happen for you, Sarah?
I was in third year at Erdang, and in third year they do a lot of like casting days, they call them, where casting directors come in and they listen to you sing or whatever. It's like 14 bars or something. It's cutthroat. And Pearson Caston, who cast Six, had come in and heard a lot of the girls sing like a short cut of a pop song, and everyone knew, you know, I was like, this is for Six.
Yeah.
Well, and it was. And so there's probably about 60 of us in our year that got called for it, you know, and it just kind of whittles down. But I'd gone into all the auditions. I thought it was a prank. I was like, this is hilarious. Like, I remember taking it to my singing teacher and being like, this is not real. Like, I don't know, I never, because we didn't have those musicals growing up, I didn't think it's something that I would like be in.
Yeah.
But got to the finals, then they said I was in consideration for Swing. I thought, this is great, like I'd love to do something like that. And then that was it. I hadn't heard for like 3 weeks, and you think, okay, that's it, I haven't got it. And then they asked me to be rehearsal swing for the cruise. I was like, what's that? I don't know what that is. But they explained, obviously, it's going to the rehearsals, being a swing there, and then not getting on the ship.
Yeah.
Coming back, you know, knowing it, so that if you have to go on the ship, then you can step up.
What, for like illness or something?
Yeah, which happened to my friend Gabby. She was rehearsal swing for Aragon, got to rehearsals, and then about day 6 was put into Aragon. She had no idea. Like, she'd packed one case thinking, I'm only going to be here for a month. Yeah. And had to fly home, get all her stuff. Like, you know, so it happens and you don't, you know, you don't think. It's always when you don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my initial...
That was your initial route in. And what was that audition process like? You said you went to the auditions. Like, how many are we talking?
Yeah, I think there was about 4 or 5.
Oh wow.
But over a span of like 2-3 weeks. So it was very quick.
Okay.
Initial self-tape, which was they have like a list of like pop songs that they want you to send.
Right.
And then dance call, then a different day singing call, then back for dancing and singing. Then they did like a group singing.
Okay.
Where we like sat in a semicircle and we got up and did it. But the rest of us sitting down would have done the little like back-in parts.
Okay.
Which was cool. And that was kind of, I think they were auditioning how we supported each other, how we acted in the room, because that's such a big thing in the show. And I think you could definitely tell that they were looking out for that. And they always had a runner in the rooms, like they were always watching to see how people behaved. Yeah. And then we had the finals, which was like a whole day of everything. It was crazy.
And was there a lot of material you had to learn? Like, was there a lot of songs you had to learn, a lot of dance routines, or was it kind of streamlined?
It was more, we did a chorus of Get Down, chorus of All You Want to Do, and then the little like dance break part in No Way. I don't know why I flared my shoulders after that.
I love to flare my shoulders.
That, and then...
If I knew it, I would flare my shoulders too.
So did those 3 dance breaks with Carrie Ann, the choreographer of the show. We were all gagged.
Oh my goodness.
Like, nothing's going in here because I'm just standing in awe of you.
Yeah.
And then like little cuts of the songs. So I obviously had to do 3 because they saw me for the main 3. And then the like opening chat, they call it, the bit just after XYs, and like the how you doing tonight, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So I had to learn half of that script because obviously I was in for 3 of them. So I was, going over the lines before I'm going in, like pretty much just saying them all myself.
Which one am I doing? Which one?
I don't know. Yeah, so it was a long day because they were obviously filtering through all the queens. But
and how many were there roughly there? Like
in the finals, there was about 30, 40.
Yeah, it's still quite a lot, isn't it? For you know,
because they obviously want to cover themselves. You know, they want at least 3, 4, 5 in for one part.
Yeah,
to then filter off swings as well. You know, it's like you don't think, and then you think, oh wait, actually there are 6 parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then 2 swings, a super swing, whatever. So actually it ends up being about 9 or 10 parts that they're trying to fill.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, actually that's not a lot
Yeah.
Yeah.
to choose from.
No. Well, fair. Yeah, enough. Yeah. And what was your rehearsal process like then?
Intense. It was intense but fun. I had that first time, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know what it was going to be. But the first few days, you know, they sort of wean you into it, which is nice. You do the Queen presentations, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You do a Holbein workshop,
Oh.
which is just an afternoon of silliness and hilariousness. But
I didn't. That's one of the things I learned from the show. I didn't know who Hans Holbein was.
House up, Holbein.
Bound. German painter and printmaker. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
favourite number.
Yeah, is it? Is that your favourite number?
Well, because you're just
Go mad.
Just a bit crazy.
It's your time to kind of just not. I wouldn't say be myself, but I am.
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
You know, you kind of don't. You can do whatever you want. Just have a gag.
But I suppose for some, maybe I'm wrong, but for quite a lot of you, the moments for you, they get quite emotional and quite intense, aren't they?
Yeah.
So to get a wee moment like Hans Holbein to kind of just be a bit of a nudder on stage is probably quite nice.
And especially, you know, my song's near the end.
Yeah.
So I'm spending the show not waiting for my number, because I think, especially having done it loads, it kind of just becomes second nature. But I think we are very much, you're not your queen when you're backing up the other queens. You are their backup singers.
I love that.
So I'm not hired when I'm in Don't Lose Your Head. I am just Anne Boleyn's. Well, they're actually called the Gossipy Flamingos.
Oh.
That's what they're called. So that's my, you know, so by the time I get to Holbein, I'm like, oh yes, I'm excited to like be completely different.
Yes.
And then after that, I kind of go into my, okay, get ready because you're about to do a 7.5 minute song in a second.
Yeah.
So,
and for anyone who hasn't seen the show and like me is a bit rubbish in history, what is your Queen's story? Like what happened? Like what was her deal with her husband?
well, I wouldn't say hard one to talk about, but she was very, very young when she met Henry, and had grown up in her house, in her court, to be married, and her dad had very much set her up to marry the king when Cleves had arrived, and obviously had not looked like a profile picture.
Yeah.
And they got married, and then she became friends with this guy in Henry's court, Thomas Culpeper, and obviously we'll never know what really happened, but Henry found out about it and ordered her to be beheaded, and she was, when you know read into it, probably not older than 18 when it happened.
He was such an ass, wasn't he? Like,
yeah. So that's her story, is very much, she's defined, when you look up on Google, it's just Henry Maddox, Francis Derham, Henry, Thomas, like she's defined by men.
Yeah.
It's not Catherine did this and then she did that. It's she met him and then she met him and then she met him, which is the point of the song.
Yes.
And I remember reading it and thinking that was my light bulb moment. I thought, this is why her song is laid out the way it is, because her life is defined by men.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it's,
And she definitely was not old enough to be making any of those decisions to be with men.
No.
You know, she was far too young, so she was definitely being taken advantage of her whole life, whether it was from her dad or from her music teacher or her then husband. You know, she just was there. Literally, she, as you said, she was born to do a job, and that was it.
I think that's why she's linked to Britney so well, because she became this icon that she didn't, you know, she didn't, not didn't want that, but didn't, you know,
So young too.
it was just projected onto her.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point and the like importance of Howard is what I think is when you're playing her is that yes, she's sexy and vibrant and whatever, but she doesn't, that's just her. She's not trying to do that. And throughout the song it's that switch where she's like, oh, this is my life.
Yeah. And she definitely probably wasn't trying to do that, but she was probably told to act like that. And that, you know, especially whenever you're a little girl and if your daddy tells you to do something, you know, you're never going to think that he's telling you because this man's like going to take advantage of you. So, yeah, I think it's one of the saddest stories.
Well, I was about to say, I think of all the Queen's numbers in the show, it's the one that hit me hardest when I watched it for the first time. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like Heart of Stone is sad, but it's kind of...
It does what it says on the tin.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
As soon as it starts, you know what's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
You don't with All You Want to Do. It
Nope.
starts and you think, oh, she's, you know, a wee minx.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it takes a real turn and you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
If you don't know the history...
Yeah.
Which, I'll be honest, the first time I saw it, I knew he had 6 wives and I knew what he did to them, but you don't know the ins and outs of it. And that, I went, whoa, right, okay.
But that again shows how clever the writing is, because it starts off with this, like you say, and she's like just telling her story, but it's almost like her realization when she gets to the end, oh, you know, all of this probably shouldn't have happened to me, or I shouldn't have been put in that situation. I shouldn't have been compromised like that. And but yeah, the writing and the music and everything, you know, the performance then just that's where it gets you as an audience member.
Was it an emotional time working on that character and that's her song in particular?
Well, we do scene versions, they call them. So every number has like a real life situation that you do in the room before you do it. And we kind of took it verse by verse, and you do it with the queens and in the setting of what they want. And that last bit, they have just from the silence when she goes into it again, and the director just has everyone in the room turn away from you. And you sing that last bit just to no one. Just the idea that she's like, can anybody hear me? Mm-hmm. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was not expecting. You're just hit with emotion, because I was like, no one is listening to me. Like factually, no one is seeing what I'm doing or the emotion that I'm portraying. And you think, oh my God, that happened. Like this girl. What in any situation it happens all the time. Like my message that I'm trying to portray right now, no one is listening and no one is going to help me. And I think that is why the song is so harrowing. You know, because that last
I'm near crying just listening to you, to be quite honest to you.
And I think as well, whenever you know it was so long ago in history, like you want to be able to help. You know, the way that song is written, you're like, oh, well, is there anything I can do? But it's so long ago, it's happened that you can't. But I think it's a great way of, you know, this is what we should be using history for, is learning from our mistakes and learning from the past. Like, let's not erase history. It happened. You know, all those bad things that happened, we can't change them, but we can stop it from happening in the future. So, you know, use that moment, okay, if I see signs of somebody being treated badly, how can I help them? How can I make that not the case anymore?
And is there moments in any of the other Queen's songs that kind of hit you? You remember it, like going, oh wow, that's a real moment there in that song, or... Yeah.
Especially in Heart of Stone. Obviously it's the ballad, but Hannah, who played my Seymour, always just before the big note, the first time I watched it, she takes this like exhale and then it just comes out, and it's like oh my God, you know, it just makes it all kind of, it hits you in the face, and I just wasn't expecting it. Like, I'd seen it so many times, but I don't know if it's because I knew her, like, you know,
you had a relationship her. Now,
but I don't know, it was that moment where she just was kind of like, oh, I can't go on, I can't do this anymore. And then it just hit, I was like, you know, like, not only is she absolutely slaying these vocals, but she's like telling a story. We were all sobbing, like, you can feel me. None of us could do the backing vocals, we were all sobbing. But that was a moment where I was like, oh my God.
And is the sisterhood just like something else?
I didn't think it was going to be that way, you know. I think 8 girls in a room, plus the band, is 12 of us, and it's kind of, you would expect there to be some bitchiness.
Yeah, but it's a recipe for disaster, let's be honest. Yeah. Especially in the world of musical theatre, let's be honest.
Yeah, but it just, I never once felt uncomfortable, nervous, insecure. It just, at the end of every week, we would do a gratitude circle of what we were thankful for.
I love it.
And moments where we would like call each other out, you know, like...
In a lovely way.
Yeah, you know, like one week I remember just saying like, thank you to Sonny, he bought me Eggos today. You know, it's like little things. But I think it kind of just Well, because we're all away from home. You know, we're all missing our family and our friends and our like support network. So you have to become your own support network.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Like seeing your Instagram post, like I was like, oh, are we Sarah's away like on a ship for a very long time? But then, you know, you saw the post you put up of you with the other girls, maybe in your wee downtime, and it just looked like.
And your TikToks were slaying.
See, I'm not on TikTok. I'm missing out, Emma.
So fun. It's so fun.
missing out.
I thought we should take them more seriously. I just find something funny. I'm like, oh, we'll do it. But yeah, it is. They do become family. Like even not, you know, we kind of went home and I was like, oh wait, I'm not going to see them every day, all day, every day.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to, you know.
And yeah, because I suppose being on the ship is very different to doing it in a theatre.
Yeah.
You know, for 6 weeks, or you know, you're there 24/7 with these
Maybe
people.
less like business. You know, it's more like, okay, the show was like 10% of the experiences that we had together.
Yeah.
You know.
So what was it like performing on a ship?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Like I think I don't know, was it because it's the show? You know, people. It was always like 4 packed houses. We would do it 4 times per cruise.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember going into the theatre that first day and being like, I'm on a ship. What? Like this, you know, sometimes I'd have that thought mid-show. I'm like, I am doing 6 musical in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah,
like,
that's so surreal.
Let me just like disassociate for a second, like what's happening. But yeah, we were lucky in that people always wanted to watch it. So
Yes.
Yeah.
it never felt anything other than amazing. Like it just, every single time we did it.
Yeah.
And coming out of that kabuki curtain, you're just like, what is going on? You know?
And was being on a ship lovely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different way of life. Like you definitely have to become adjusted and like, you know, reset your mind in certain ways.
And what way? Give us an example. I've never done a ship before.
Well, you lose your sense of days. Days of the week are not a
okay.
thing. Because we did 10-day cruises.
Okay.
So it was day 1 to day 10. It wasn't Monday to Sunday.
Oh, wow. That's
You know?
so weird.
So when my family came on, they'd be like, okay, what days... We would port in Santorini. So what day's Santorini? And I'd say day 2.
Yeah.
They're like,
what?
Wednesday, Thursday. I'm like, I don't know. I don't work 5 days of the week. Like, don't ask me that. I'm like, day 2 Santorini. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not... I'm like, stop asking me. I don't know. So, like, that's one thing. You lose sense of that. Like, time is not a thing.
Okay.
And just, I think, it works for me because my mind is always go, go, go anyway. You know, I think it's nice to, like, get up, have breakfast, maybe go to the gym, get off in port. Like, we would spend all day out in port just because we were in these amazing places.
Yeah.
Get back on, shower, go for dinner. We don't go for a wee drink, or whatever. Go see the show. There's like the entertainment on the ship doesn't end with 6. Like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't even believe the amount of talent on one ship, let alone there's like 22 ships out there in one cruise line.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of, it's always go, go, go. There's never a moment to kind of chill.
Yeah.
There's one sea day, and usually that was a show day. So you kind of just have to get used to your life always being busy.
And was there any like, not drama's the wrong word, I don't mean drama, like was there any like crisis, like somebody was sick and like you all had to like rejig lastminute.com, like any like drama like, oh my goodness, what are we going to see?
We did actually, when we did a crossing, like a transatlantic cross.
Yeah.
That sounds so fancy. We did
I know.
transatlantic cross.
Sarah, it is fancy.
So we went from New York.
Own it, babes.
Went from New York to Rome. But that first, we went New York to Bermuda. Bermuda was unreal. Oh my God. Not over it. And coming out of Bermuda, we hit a storm.
Oh.
And like, I'd never been on a ship. It was like Larn to Stranraer. Like, no, it's not the same thing.
There's plenty of storms in that one, let me tell you.
But like this like 18 floor, 6,500 of people on this one ship going through. And we went through a really bad storm. And they wanted us to do the show. Obviously, because if you're feeling sick, you want something to take your mind off it. We were like, what about us?
Yeah, exactly.
We had sick buckets either side of the stage.
Oh my
We had
goodness.
seasickness patches. Like, Mum had packed me a packet of ginger nuts. She was like, there, for your seasickness. Yeah. I was like, Mum, I won't use these. No, they're gone. Then like, a bunch of these ginger nuts. So that was a bit like touch and go. And we had a swing on. We had, Eden was doing Berlin. And I felt really, really ill, but her mum was watching, and I thought, well, I can't call out because she's my swing.
Oh no.
So I was like, it's fine, I'll do it. But actually, when you get into the show, you forget. You know, it's like mind over matter.
Adrenaline takes over.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you probably didn't have time to have your ginger biscuits. Like, you don't go off stage, do you, in 6? Like, you're on the whole time, are you?
There's 2 times.
Okay.
One is to put your ruff on. Okay. And one is to take your ruff off. So it's like, take the ruff on, sip water, bye. You know, it's like not, or like the wig, he'll come and brush my pony, or like it's never... You're not sitting having a chat. Well, 'cause you've in-ears on anyway, so you're like sign languaging with people backstage, you know, trying to say what it is, but no time.
And what are in-ears?
So we wear in-ear monitors, IEMs. It's, for us, we use them to listen to the band. Okay. Because they count us in for a lot of things.
Nice.
Pop concert style. Also because it's so loud.
Yeah.
We would deafen ourselves, you know, listening to that every night. But yeah, especially in my song, you know, there's that silence, and then I get a count 2, 3, 4, and then I come in.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So it's actually funny watching the show and not hearing it. You know, I'm like, oh wait, where's?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like in No Way, you know, when she does the no, you've got nothing. Like that's 3, 4, nothing to say. And you're like, wait, where is it? Like I don't know.
Oh yeah, that must be very strange.
A lot of it counts in. The same with 3, 4, 6. Like it's all planned. The Joan counts it in. She's the MD and the pianist. So.
Oh, and are those like, are the band the same when you go back? The creatives the same, or is it totally different?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
there's like a pool of different creative teams that all mix match.
Nice.
Between 6 and NCL. I did have the same too. I was lucky.
Okay.
Not lucky. They're all amazing, but it was nice to know, to have comfort.
You've a rapport already, don't you?
Yeah. But yeah, there's so many. I can't even think. I think there's like 12 productions at once right now in the world happening.
But is that amazing to be a part of that? Mm-hmm. Like to go, I am one of 6, but one of 12.
Yeah.
Like that is amazing.
And when you're in the Queendom, could they send you anywhere? Or is it separate contracts as such?
Like interestingly, every show is a little bit different.
Okay.
Especially London to Broadway, a lot changed because of the Seymour had knee problems, so the choreo is slightly switched.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so like every production is slightly different. Like not because the show's never been frozen. Like it's never been, this is it, this is the final. Yeah. Which is kind of cool. You know, it's never going to see the same
because
production.
It also gives the artists an element of flexibility to bring them to it as well. That's really lovely.
It's that creativeness, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they were very creative, obviously, whenever they created it. I wrote it in a very specific way, but they also knew what they were doing and what they wanted the messages to be. So they've allowed then everybody to
be them.
Mm-hmm.
Which you kind of like. There was a wee bit of a buzz around you, wasn't there? Because
yes, I wanted to talk about this.
Obviously do it in your own Northern Irish accent.
I am the first Irish queen. Irish, Northern Irish, whatever you want to say.
That is just so cool.
And was that a decision that you wanted to keep your accent?
So it's, no matter the person that's playing the queen, they do their own accent. That's like standard.
So that's why whenever it's on Broadway, because obviously there was a lot of like, not controversy, but people going, oh, that's not how it's meant to sound and whatever whenever it went to Broadway, but that's what, so you just do
you
it.
Are like the queen is an expression of you. It's what you bring to that queen. Because obviously none of them are from London, are they? These queens? Like,
no.
You know.
And
so I think
no offence, but there's been some rather dodgy British accents on Broadway cast recordings of English shows. Like, you're best just, doing you, right?
Like, it's true. Like, I think it's that debate, isn't it? Like the English Les Mis or the British Les Mis. Like, what one do you prefer? But they're all French, so why does it matter? It's the same. Like,
but I think what's different with our accent is our accent's very hard to understand across the world. Yeah. So that's where a lot of us go away and lose our accent, or tone it down.
Which you haven't, dear. You're still very much from here.
I'm like, clinging on to it.
But you know yourself when you're on holiday, like even, and somebody says, where are you from? You say, Northern Ireland, never heard of it. Is it near India? No. Like, I mean.
Or they're like, my mom's cousin's auntie's brother's Irish. And you're like, no.
Do you get a lot of that on the cruises?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, which is Irish.
really?
No, you're not.
Yeah. And you're like, we are a small country, like, and Northern Ireland in particular is even smaller, you know, and we probably do know somebody that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But our accent can be very hard. And also, some people have lovely accents in Northern Irish or Irish, but some people have very harsh ones.
But people always hear a Northern Irish accent and will always come, oh, your accent, where are you from?
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily happen with lots of other,
No,
you
true.
know, like dialects as such. But so
Your
what was it
accent.
like when it got out on the socials? Oh my goodness, like
I know.
Sarah, the first Irish queen, like did they just go wild for it?
It's weird. Like, I think that's what people love about the show is they celebrate difference, you know. It's just like crazy the amount of diversity within the show.
Yeah.
Even like on the most recent West End cast, Billy Carson, who plays Anne Boleyn, uses they them pronouns. It was the first ever non-binary queen in the show. Like, they celebrate uniqueness, which I just love. So I feel like people love that. I remember the Mega Six coming out and someone being like, what is the accent? Like, because even like All You Want to Do, like the word do, or even Kay Howard, like they'd say Howard.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that queen especially, like, she seems to have a lot of vowels in everything she says.
Yeah.
So like, this is interesting. But yeah, people loved it. I think it was nice to kind of, you know, fly the flag for back home.
Yeah.
100%. And I know you were swing for 2 other roles. Did you get to play them, or
We did swing runs,
nice,
which
okay.
was
is it fun or is it stressful?
it's kind of that like fight or flight, you know. I loved being a swing and doing, I think my brain just works well with it and like enjoys the challenge. But also with that show, it's kind of process of elimination, you know. Like I said that the other day, if 4 queens are walking one way and one's walking the other, chances are you're going that way, you know. It's a fun show to swing because there's only 6 ways.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But 3 too many in my brain at one time.
Yeah. It was nice to go to one.
Yeah.
Let's
Like
just
you've
say.
walked in today with your show book, which
I
has
did.
all of your, like, what are they called? Tracks? Is that what you call them?
Tracks.
For each of your queens. And I'm going, like, literally, that's giving me a headache just
I
looking at all
love
your wee
the diagrams.
Well, this was I upgraded. This was my first, that I did all these books, but then I got an app called Stage Right, which is on my iPad, and you actually download the show and have like little icons and you just pull them.
What?
That's so cool.
It's unreal. I'll show you after. Which is what a lot of people, everyone in the West End would use it. It's just so handy because you're copying and pasting the stage and just pulling where they need to go, save, next slide. Like
That has to be invented by someone that's in the biz.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was.
Clever.
Yeah.
They're probably making a fortune. Do you have to pay for it? Is it a free app?
Well, it's like a subscription,
Okay.
you know, like a Netflix kind of thing, which is so useful. But you're just, you know, I'll have this ... And it's nice with that show, you can colour code them because they've got colours. But yeah, then now I love a note. That's you. I learned that from you. Your big notebooks.
Oh my goodness. I love a wee notebook. I love a diagram. A diagram speaks 1,000 words for me.
Very visual learner.
And I like, in my routines, I like transitions rather than straight lines, or like I liked it
See where they're
constantly
going.
moving and changing. So yeah, like I'm a total geek when I see a book like that, even though there's loads of like pictures of boobies on the front cover.
It's so cute. It's interchangeable.
It's so cute.
They're
What?
gold.
Okay.
They're gorgeous.
She came in, she put the book down on the table, and I went, are those boobies on the front of your
Boobies. Walking into the 6 rehearsal room, everyone's women. You know, they're like mine. Yeah. We're all pointing like, which ones are yours?
Might I just say, they're not actual real boobies, it's
No.
like we draw.
She keeps saying it like a
Paper chase.
5-year-old.
What? I can't say that. Other
Boobs.
Okay, boobs. Sorry. Right. Okay. Sarah, when did you know this is what you wanted to do?
I think when I was born, like literally came out singing. I don't know. Alex went to stage school first.
Yeah.
And I just kind of followed in that path. I think Mum would say I didn't originally like it. Maybe there was a few weeks of tears and tantrums. Me? Tears and tantrums?
No, you are the most, like, constant of all of them that I remember. Like, I never remember having any issues with you, Sarah. Like,
think
you
like
were
past
always
maybe
very...
4.
Okay.
We're talking, yeah.
But is that not 4-year-olds?
Yeah,
like,
I
all
know.
4-year-olds were
We're
like
still
that.
very little.
Yeah, but that was like every week. I
Yeah.
did that. I didn't see anything else that I would do. Like, I could do other things. Like, I had passions and interests, but that was nothing compared. So it was my whole life.
Yeah.
So that was...
Yeah, I do remember from a relatively young age, you knew exactly where you wanted to go to stage school. For a while, you wanted to go to America. Did you? And I was like, okay, so not only does she just want to, like, you know, go away from home, but she wants to go to America. Like,
Mum's like crying. And
yeah, she was like, oh, I don't know about America. Yeah, no, but you always had it in you, like, didn't you? You knew you were headstrong. Like, there was nobody that
Stubborn.
was going to stubborn. Yeah,
Yeah, or Sarah worked hard for it. Like,
course she
Sarah has our dog is trying to. I don't know.
she's Honey's heard that we have a queen in the house and is beating down the door.
But no, Sarah has an awful lot of talent and has had talent that has shone through from such a young age. But you could see the work from week to week at such a young age. You could tell that she didn't just see stage school as a one-off.
Yeah.
You know, there was practice put in and, you know, because it's not an easy life, Sarah, sure it's not.
No. But like the household, like our week revolved around stage school on Saturday. Like we'd cry on the way home, like, I have to wait another 6 days. You know, because like we were coming from Antrim. You know,
Yeah.
like, the
Yeah,
whole-
you really did. Like, you went on a trek, didn't you?
Yeah. But it was
come to
worth it.
us.
Like there was no other place that we would have wanted to go.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. Like, it's brilliant. I remember you dressed as a crocodile
Yeah.
at the age of... What age would you have been when you were a crocodile? Was that Peter Pan?
No clue.
I'm
But I
going
do
You were
that.
Yeah,
young,
you
like,
had these
you were
curly,
baby, yeah,
curly
and they were
doing that.
coming out of the wee
ginger
yeah,
ringlets.
yeah.
No, I remember being the mouse in The Lion King and think that, I mean,
remember
like,
that
I
too.
have been given, I'm the only mouse
I am. The
in the entirety of Pride Rock, and I'm going to run with it. Like, I remember practicing the face, when like, should I do this face? Mum, what about this face?
Yeah.
She's like, get out of my face. You don't even have any
your
lines.
And then I remember you did a double-hander with Adam. And it was anything. Did you did anything you can do? I can do better,
That was
didn't you?
Kiri.
Oh, what did you do?
Me and Ben did the
yes,
hand clap.
hand clap. That was it.
Which
Yeah.
was
Oh,
taken over
that's
from you.
like
That
highlight
was,
of the
you
life.
took over from me. I did it first. Just saying.
Oh, first verse.
Passed it off. That's it.
That was I like that's I think I could still do that. That's like ingrained.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we all
we
could.
Forever.
Yeah.
I think most of Stage School's routines we could still rock out like.
Yeah.
I think we'll be doing them whenever we're in the nursing home. It'll be we'll not remember our names, we'll not remember what day of the week it is, but we'll be doing some
But
form
ask
of
me to get up and do the hand clap. I will do that routine.
or the Irish, the 40s.
What do you enjoy most about musicals?
Oh,
Why are
How
you?
long have you got?
Well, I know. I mean, we're all right.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
You've got about 10 minutes maybe before we're really pushing the length of this episode.
I think the connections that you make through musicals, you know, like we grew up obviously in our house, we're all very musical, but I think being able to watch a show and connect to it on a level, make connections with people, you know, like watch a show and think, oh, I love this, who's this composer, or what else has he written, like, oh, maybe I love these shows, but also just like the escapism, like you enter that world for 2.5 hours and nothing else exists bar that, you know, and I feel like it's so magical, like it is a way of escaping life's problems, you know. But I just think it's like, well, that's all I listen to in the car is musicals. But yeah, I think just every story is different and everyone has a story to tell, and you know, it's just
Special, isn't it?
yeah.
It's a special hobby which now has turned into a career for you. What's next, Sarah? Like, have you got like a musical in your future that you would love to be in?
I've always wanted to be in Mamma Mia.
Okay.
Sophie and Mamma Mia would be a dream.
All right.
Or Eponine and Les Mis. That's like two very basic answers, but I think you grow up watching those shows and listening to the soundtracks. So I feel like yeah, that would be
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Well, no matter what it
fingers
is you do,
crossed for
Sarah, you'll be wonderful. Because you are wonderful.
You are, and thank you so much for giving of your time
I know.
to come and see us. We feel so
I
blessed.
feel blessed.
I just love the fact that I know a queen. And she's our gorgeous Sarah, who always has been gorgeous. You're a good person, and you deserve everything that's coming your way, which will be wonderful things, I know.
Absolutely.
Because you're talented and you work hard.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our queen. Forever. Oh. Can Sarah just come back next week and we'll just continue?
While she's on the ship, we'll just like dial in.
Yeah.
From where I am.
When we heard you were going back on the ship, I was like, okay, this is going to be easier if we're on dry land.
Yeah.
We need to get Sarah in now.
I know, that would have been interesting.
That would have been fun. Could you imagine the dialing connections? Like, Honey's interruptions.
Oh, I know.
None of them would have ever been as awful as the dialing up connection.
She's swaying from side to side.
We're losing you, Sarah. We're losing you.
Oh, so funny.
Thank you again.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you. All the best for your next stint in 6.
Yeah, that's it.
You should have done that rather
It's
than
in
me.
3-part harmony. We'll learn it. We'll do it.
We'll
Okay, yeah. We'll edit that in after the event, yeah.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Until next week, folks, we'll see you then. We're going to delve into what baking might do next week, aren't we, Lauren?
Butter.
Sugar.
Butter.
Flour.
Oh.
Till next week.
Bye.